Tonight, we give you our top 24 in the QB position, as well as we actually have a surprise guest making a first time appearance on the Average Bros, unfortunately. It is time to get average. What is going on, guys? We are the Average Bros Fantasy Show, your one-stop shop for average advice, brought to you by Football, Darts, and Fantasy Sports Alliance. As always, I am joined here with my brother, Kevin. Kevin, how are you tonight?
I am doing well. Ready to kick off our rankings series, so this should be fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for all of the debate and arguing and a little bit of agreement that we are going to go through over tonight, as well as the next couple of weeks as we go through each position. But as always, before we get into our show tonight, we would like to thank our broadcast sponsor, Football Darts. Football Darts is a dart game that combines the skill of traditional darts with the strategies of American football. This innovative dart game is played on a uniquely designed multiple target dartboard. It can be played in sports bars, at tailgate events, as league tournaments, or as a leisure activity in the comfort of your own home. If you would like to check out their officially licensed collegiate dartboards, go to footballdarts.com and make sure you guys use code IPLAYFSA at checkout to get 30% off and get yourself some above average dartboards. And if you guys like the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the show and follow us on all of our social media outlets that you see here at the bottom of the screen, as well as check out our website, fsa-fr.com. And of course, please head on over and check out Brad, Josh, and Eric on the Empty Wagon Show Saturday morning at midnight Eastern Standard Time. I believe they are doing their take on the QB position as well this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, Kev.
Yeah, QBs and tight ends, I believe, is this week, and we will try to post their rankings as well as ours together on all of our social medias. That way, if you don't catch us live or listen to the podcast version, you can always comment there as well. A little bit of a news alert: no show tomorrow night with the Fanatically Real broadcast, but as you mentioned, the Empty Wagon guys will be live Saturday.
So what you're saying is that easily number one on all of their lists should be Taysom Hill. I mean, you're going through the QBs and the tight ends. Why not put at number one? It's somebody who can do both.
Right. That's why they would have Tebow.
No. Why? I'm not going to put somebody. I'm not. Okay, he could be number two then. I'm not going to put somebody at the top of my list.
See that man? He's jacked. He gets to be one.
He's jacked. When was the last time he played football?
He's been playing baseball, and he rakes in that sport.
That's baseball. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you just can't. You know what? I'm saving my argument for later on in the show.
Sean joins us. Hello, Sean. He says Tebow for the win. Yep, he agrees with me.
Coming from a Falcons fan, that's expected. Kev, enough of that. I'm going to hand it over to you. I will let you either tell people what we're doing tonight, or you can just get straight into introducing who we actually have tonight.
Yes. Tonight, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we are going through our top 24 quarterbacks as the opening show to our rankings series, where we're going to go through the top 24 of every position. So your quarterbacks 1 and 2, especially important, being that all of the FSA leagues, I believe all of them, are Superflex leagues. And we're going to do each show with a special guest who are going to give us their rankings as well. And for this show, we have Brett.
Hey, guys.
Happy to be here. Brett, how are you doing?
I feel good. I'm happy to be here. I feel like I'm not going to live up to the next guests, but, I'll kick it off with you guys.
We are definitely glad to have you on here, and no pressure, no worries. We keep things average, so there's no real bar.
To To the next guests and future guests that we have on the show, do not stress, do not worry. We have picked the perfect man for the job that can set the bar very low for you
There's
guys.
my wife. There she is.
Damian chiming in with us. I know he'll have a lot to say, especially with the news of Aaron Rodgers actually coming back to the Packers. So holding his spot firm upon the tops of our lists, I would assume.
Yeah,
Nothing to really change there. So Sean saying to keep it average, and Damian saying Brett, my guy.
Yes.
So
anything above average, we're gonna have to kick you out of here.
all right.
yeah,
all right.
so we'll have to replace you.
We'll pick it at the end of the show based on the rankings.
But without further ado, we'll kick it off. We're going to do this in reverse order. So the bottom of the barrel at 24. Brett, we'll let you go first.
So I was making this list, and at 24, I had Justin Fields. But if I knew he was the day one starter, I probably would have left him there. But if Andy Dalton starts the season, I don't think he's going to produce, and I don't think he's worth a draft pick. So I actually put in Daniel Jones into my 24th spot. I feel like with Galladay, he could be good. He can move here and there outside the pocket, but just in general, I just can't rely on him.
Nobody can.
Danny, I trip on a dime at Jones.
Danny, my team is nothing without Saquon Jones.
Yeah, and who knows when Saquon's going to play.
I think they said that he was ready to come back week 1, I believe.
For the sake of my Foxtrot team, hopefully it is week 1.
Sake of mine, hopefully it's
not. I do not have Danny Dimes on my list, believe it or not. He is just outside. He would have been in that 26-25 spot. But I can't hate it. I mean, especially being so low. Couple new weapons they brought in, so hopefully that increases his number. I know he was sitting at 27th overall last year, so hopefully with Saquon in, get the run game going a little bit, take the pressure off his arm a little bit, pressure off his legs a little bit, they can get things working.
Kev, who do you have at 24?
At 24, I have the Jets' new quarterback in Wilson.
Okay.
I like the addition of the coach. Was a Robert Saleh there. They bring in a couple new weapons. Corey Davis joins the team. They get a rookie running back, so we know that the backfield can kind of mold and grow together. You kind of like to see younger players paired together, especially with a new coach. So for me, 24.
Yeah, I think the only problem I have with the Jets, and this is just me thinking about it now because of where Wilson is on my list, but the only worry I have is Saleh was a defensive coordinator for San Fran. So I'm worried that he's going to come in and he's going to want to just be all about the defense. And something happens on his offense, so they're like, okay, we'll just patch it up with duct tape and go forward from there.
I mean, to be fair, their defense was a huge liability last year and wore out their quarterback for having to be on the field so long. So,
yeah, I can see that. I actually, and I don't want to skip to the next one, but I have Wilson just above this one. But they did add Tevin Coleman too, so he's definitely that receiving back out of the backfield. He could help some of those numbers as well.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to breeze through my bottom of the list here because I will say that once I got to the bottom of the list, it consisted of people that I just completely forgot about, but it seemed right. So at 24, I have the journeyman himself, Ryan Fitzmagic. Like I said, it seemed right. He's been on what, half of the NFL teams at this point?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
I'm pretty sure it's double digits.
I don't have confidence he's going to finish the season. I think Taylor Heineke could finish the season.
Oh my goodness. I can only hope for that to happen. The dude deserved it after what he almost did to Tampa Bay last season.
Absolutely. I agree. I can't. Yeah. Fitzpatrick's obviously probably the day one starter.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
For me, I can't really get behind that because I think that they took him out of the spot in Miami specific. Like they must have gone in with the game plan to get to it in there in the first place because he came off of like a 400-yard, 4-touchdown game, and then like yeah, next week it's Tua. Like he came off of a nice win, and then replaced him.
I mean, but what's saying that it isn't a who was Brian always said Jared Goff. One week he was on a hot streak, and then the next week it was normal Goff.
I don't know. We'll have to see where I have him. See how confident I am in him.
Well,
Who do you have at 23, Josh?
now 23, I have Jalen Hurts. It's another man that I got to the end of the list, and I was like, oh shoot, I actually like this guy. So I'll throw him a little bone, put him at the bottom of the list here.
That's rude. That's
For me, the hardest part about ranking Hurts is how high dynasty players are on him. And I do have to mention that this is a redraft list, and that does matter going into it. I think that Hurts is getting so much love from the dynasty guys and putting him in the top 5, top 10, worst case scenario. But when you look at it, he has so many new pieces. It's a huge question mark. And not having played a full season last year, not looking that great last year. But I will have to say he probably has the highest ceiling receiving room out of the younger bunch of quarterbacks that you could see break in and have that like this year's Herbert type feel.
I think what bumped him above some other people for me is we get a half point for first down rushing. So, he could pick up a couple first downs a game, that the 2-3 points can make a big difference.
Yeah, having the legs is definitely an upside for this league.
And Damien asks if Watson got traded to the Eagles yet. No, but apparently if it happens, that's where it will be. I'll be surprised to see if he gets commissioner listed once the trade happens, because that's a huge possibility, and they can make him sit until the hearing is next year. Worst case.
So, Kev, who is number 23 on your list?
I have Ben Roethlisberger at 23. I have.
Yeah.
Last year he finished 12th overall in FSA with points, and that was with the shambles of what I consider a wide receiver room anyway. I think it's a bunch of 2s and 3s there. I'm not confident in any of them. But you add a decent check down in a tight end, you add a running back that can take some of the pressure off of his knees and not make him stand in the pocket and throw as much. I think that his numbers drop with the possibility of not playing all year as well mixed in, but still putting up numbers to be wide or quarterback 2.
Agreed.
We have Factbook asking, is Brett an Eagles fan? And that answer...
Yes, I would say yes. Yes, I am.
An outstanding and disappointing yes.
I think I said this to Kevin before, but you have to separate who you cheer for in fantasy. So that's like the main thing you got to go into. You can't just not draft Dak or someone because you don't like him. So, I didn't rank Hurts higher than, Josh did just because I like him. But, I ranked him higher just because I think he's going to do better than 23rd.
Oh, I don't, like I said, he's there because I forgot about him. I probably would have had him higher above some of the other people in this list. And I know both of you could, or well, at least you could agree with me on that one.
Yeah.
Who do you have at 23, Brett?
I have Zach Wilson. 24, obviously, by the time you get to the bottom, it's just kind of, like you said, you were throwing people down. Zach Wilson. And then at 22, I had Derek Carr.
Okay.
I don't think, obviously he does have Drake. Drake got out of that backfield, so that pass catching back, they didn't really have a solid guy coming out of the backfield. But I think, obviously Waller on that offense, he can obviously bring something to the table, and who knows if Ruggs is going to bounce back and, be that wide receiver everyone needs. So maybe Derek Carr can kind of step it up a little bit this year. I don't know where he finished last year.
Last year, he finished 13th overall
Okay.
in points. He finished with 308 overall, right in the mix between the likes of Roethlisberger above him, Matt Ryan below him. And we know how those types of players went.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where Josh went. I think he said his mouse died. Don't know why that matters much. But at 22, I had Hurts.
God. Wow. We're going to get up this list, and you're going to start looking for where Hurts is on this list. So I'll warn you in advance.
Yeah, kind of the same reasons that I mentioned earlier when talking about him on Josh's list. I mean, just too big of a question mark to say much higher. I think it's a guy with a obviously low floor, high ceiling, a boom bust type guy that I don't mind risking a second quarterback take on, but I can't put enough faith in to go much higher.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? Who'd you have at 22?
22. I have Tua.
That's awful.
Well, I mean, despite of the news that I just saw on my phone prior to the show tonight with Howard wanting a trade, I just think with having the defense on his back, and he's got Waddle there, I think that Waddle's going to do good there, and then he's got Gesicki. I am super high on Gesicki, way too high on Gesicki than others would want me to be, but
they've got Fuller too, that downfield that he's really never had.
Well, that's if he doesn't end up getting suspended again.
Yeah, who knows?
Ross Norris checking in with us. Hi, Ross. I will say that Tua is not terrible, but for me, not good enough to make this list. I think that he's too back and forth. I think that the mixing of his run game to inconsistencies in the pass game don't tend to lead well to high scoring games. It's a lot of close, tight stuff where you don't see the stats roll out in. He's not when we talk about fantasy quarterbacks versus actual quarterbacks, right? Drew Brees, never been a great fantasy quarterback. Actual quarterback, probably top 5 of all time, could be argued there, especially with the stat lines that he has. You talk about Matt Stafford, probably top 5 fantasy quarterback if you take a look at how many yards he puts up and just the how much throwing he actually has to do. Actuality, I really don't want Matt Stafford on my team. So yeah, I think that Tua is going to fall into that Breeze category and not fare so well in fantasy, but be good enough to squeak out close games.
You're crazy for not wanting Stafford on your team. I would kill to have somebody who dislocates his shoulder and then makes a game-winning throw.
I am a Stafford fan. I'm just using him because he's the biggest one in that category of, hey, look at me, I can put up 5,000 yards, but oh wait, we won one game this year. So
might be different on the Rams.
But it's like Brady. Brady's all right at fantasy. Finished 7th overall, but I wouldn't want him on my team.
You're an idiot.
All right. Yeah, you'd rather have what? Jameis Winston and Taysom.
I'm like I said, I'm crazy, but not that crazy. Taysom, I would take Taysom before I took Winston.
Yeah.
Sean does agree with you, Josh. He is not a fan of Brady, never drafted him, and never will. So
thank you.
You're not alone there.
That takes a lot for Sean to say.
And Damien says Hurts' legs should keep him in the 11 to 15 range at quarterback. In redraft, low QB1, high QB2. The only thing high is yourself there, Damien. Put it down.
Well, I think people are going to draft him early regardless of what you tell them.
Yeah, I agree. Dutch2552 chiming in with us saying Stafford feels like he's being overrated a bit. I feel like a lot of his past scoring has come from playing hero ball in Lions comebacks, something he might not get to do in LA. I mean, I agree, and you'll see where he lands either on or off these lists. But we're just saying as far as putting up a stat line because he's played hero ball, that's why he plays well off in the fantasy realm.
Yeah,
I think
with that defense, who knows?
I think this comment needs to be like screenshotted or something. It needs to be savored. we have Sean actually defending a quarterback that's not a Falcon in the South.
Well, he just can't define Matt Ryan, so he's got to defend someone.
He says Brees was a top 3 quarterback in fantasy for like 5 consecutive years between 14 and 19. I don't know if that is accurate.
We can look at that after the show.
Next on the list, we've all gone through 22, I believe, right, Josh?
Yes.
We got
All
20.
right. So, yeah, 21, nice and easy. Jimmy GQ.
Jimmy G, I sat behind Brady for a couple seasons, and I thought I was the real deal, but I can't stay healthy. Garoppolo.
I think he stays healthy enough to finish a little bit higher. I think his team stays healthy enough. You got to remember that the 49ers whole team was plagued with tons of injuries, missing Kittle for some time, missing 1 of 10 running backs for some time. I think that they get back a little bit healthier. I'm not saying he's healthy the whole season, obviously, by my rankings, but I think he's healthy enough to put up some big games and stay relevant early on, whether or not he gets replaced by Lance later on.
Dave just said that same
team.
And I'm in that same boat. I don't think he remains the starter long enough. I think him and Lance kind of – I don't know when Lance comes on, but I don't think Jimmy G stays that whole year.
I just hope it's not another Miami situation where 1 week you have Jimmy G playing, and then right as soon as he throws an interception, they toss Lance in. I just don't like teams like that.
That offense is unbelievable.
Put it this way, the quarterback that finished 21st last season also missed 5 games. So take that with what you will.
I know who you're talking about. Why you got to kick a man while he's down?
Josh, who do you have at 21?
21, I probably would have preferred to put Jimmy G here because I have Cam Newton here.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and let you know that while we're on him, Cam's my 20.
Okay, so Cam Newton, I don't know. I just didn't like what I saw in the video of him, and I just don't think that he's a good fit for the way that Belichick runs it. Just from seeing Brady play there for so long, Cam is not no Brady.
Right, I agree. Still finished 17th last year based on those legs.
I stayed away from ranking. I know I did mention Justin Fields, but I didn't rank anyone who could split time. Jameis Taysom, Dalton Fields, Lance, Jimmy G, and as well as this here. You know, who knows when Mac Jones could come and take over.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah, defend yourself here. Come on.
That is correct. We both actually have Cam over Hurts.
Yes.
And I have him a spot higher.
I think it would be more I have Belichick over Hurts. Yes. I just, as much as I hate Belichick and his, cut off hoodies, I just think he's one of the best. I think he's one of the best head coaches. And I think that hopefully this year he fixes Cam and actually gets him to be a good QB for once.
Chris chimes in and says, Brett looks like a younger Bill, and he thought you were him.
Whatever.
That's kind of upsetting that you got compared to Bill. I now feel sorry for you.
That was kind of rude, but I won't hold it.
Damien says mac and cheese should be in this spot.
I agree. If we could put tandems, I don't know. We obviously didn't settle that beforehand, but if we could put tandems, I probably would have ranked Cam and Mac.
Well, yeah, if we could put them both there, that would be decent.
I would probably include them.
If I have to include another QB with like 2 QBs and on one team, I just wouldn't even put them on there.
Yeah, that's kind of the I took.
Well, that's why he's saying that's why he didn't rank either of them, because they're going to split so much.
Yeah,
Brett, who do you have at 21?
So 21, I have Big Ben. I know one of you guys, I don't know if both of you guys had him after this or not, but almost we are at 21. We're working our way backwards.
So I had him after you at 23.
Okay.
Well, no, he's answering. This is actually
yeah.
Chris saying, "What number are we at?" I've only just tuned in, Chris.
Yes. We're
We are at 21. The fact you weren't here at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, don't
below
blame us
average.
for your mistakes.
Yeah, I just like I don't know if Najee can maybe take some points from him running the ball, or could open the field up a little bit more. So it's kind of maybe hit or miss there to kind of help Ben or hurt Ben. But obviously, who knows how long he could play, or he could get injured. I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't be surprised.
Do we think this is his last year?
Could be, yeah.
If not in the NFL, like if he doesn't retire by the end of this year, I just think that the Steelers are going to be done with him by the end of this year.
I think this is his last contracted year.
Yeah, so they're not going to re-sign him.
Josh, did you say who you had at 21?
Yes, unfortunately, I had Cam at 21.
Okay. And who do you have at 20?
At 20, oh boy, this is where it gets juicy here. I have the QB that I am probably the highest on because I have him in both of my dynasties. It is Carson Wentz.
Ooh.
I'm so high on him. I have him in both of my leagues, and I put him at 20.
I was about to say the quarterback that you're the highest on is 20th.
I've got him there.
You said you have him higher than that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have him way higher than that, actually.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be funny because of who I have in front of him. But yeah, he's back with Reich. He's got arguably a top 5 running back behind him.
The O-line.
Yeah,
they probably have top 2 line, top 3 line.
Yeah, it was Browns last year, and then the Colts are number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe they have a decent defense, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely.
Yeah. So Carson Wentz at 20. That's my guy.
Damien says this is 2 different types of high.
Damien's for you.
Yeah, I do like Wentz. I think that a ton of people are really low on him just because of his down years and misuse, I believe, in his last season with Philly. That I believe that he bounces back heavy, especially with all the weapons that they've brought in to surround him with. People forget how good T.Y. Hilton has been in the past.
That's why that outside of him and JT, they have like what, Pittman and Campbell?
Yeah. I mean, they made it work with Rivers there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They were a playoff team, weren't they?
Fact book says Big Ben at 21. This Coach Brett is crazy.
On him.
I already said my 20 was Cam, so we'll move right along.
That is where I have Lawrence. Yep.
Is at 20.
I don't know if either of you guys might have him a little bit higher. But he does. I think Marvin Jones Jr. is one of the most slept on wide receivers this year. I think Trevor Lawrence finds him often, probably more than Chark and Visca.
I think they have too many receivers. The amount of receivers that they've brought in is just beyond me. Not even to mention the 2 running backs that they have out of the backfield.
Hashtag Team J Rob.
And they're using Etienne as a receiver as well. Plus, you bring in the big-bodied Tim Tebow. I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, Minshew said he hasn't pooped in 2 weeks, so he's not about number 2s. So like that starting job.
He shaved his mustache and mullet, so I don't know if I can believe him.
Oh, I can't. He needs to go.
What about 19 for you guys?
Chris says that by Josh's smile. T-Law's a lot higher.
Kev, who do you have at 19?
At 19, I have Matt Stafford.
That's rude.
Okay. I think I don't know who said it before or with the comments before about how most of his fantasy points came from having to dig himself out of a hole.
Yeah, Doug mentioned that. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. I mean, I'm just throwing dirt on myself because I do have him higher on my list.
I do too, but I
I-
definitely see that with his core. I mean, Cup and Woods are
That's why I put him higher.
absolutely.
My issue with him is that I think that a lot of better off quarterbacks finished lower than him last year, which make people put him higher. Last year, Stafford finished at 16th, but you had Wentz lower than him. You had an injured Burrow lower than him. You had Dak way lower than him, obviously. You have the quarterbacks for team that obviously didn't have starting quarterbacks with the 49ers, the Broncos, all lower than him. So I think that he can lose a few places.
Brett, who do you have at 19?
That is where I have Tua. So I know we've kind of touched on him a little bit, and we are on 19 and about halfway through the show, so I don't want to hold it up too much so we can keep it rolling. But I don't want to miss the top ones. The top ones are the most fun.
We can open it up
we're
to
getting
my
there.
19.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got Tua at 19.
So at 19, I have Mr. 30 for 30. Mr. I can throw over 5,000 yards in a season, but still lead the league in interceptions. I have Jameis Winston at 19.
Who's he throwing the ball to?
Oh,
Traquan Smith.
Traquan for the win, Smith.
Traquan Smith and Chris Hogan.
No, it's Traquan Smith and that other guy across the field. It's Traquan Smith and Troutman. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Chris wants to know why you ranked the backup.
I mean, to be fair, I wish he was right. I actually want you to be right. I don't want to see Jameis starting week 1. I want it to be Taysom. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, on the other hand, too, you got to realize that he has a former number 1 running back behind him who is primarily known for his receiving. Just because you don't have Breeze there doesn't mean they're going to go away from dumping the ball off to him.
I did not rank Wilson or Winston for the same reason that Brett did not, that he's going to share. In my eyes, it's not a clear-cut one, so I'm not going to rank somebody I don't know is going to start the job. I did rank Cam, yes, because in my eyes, he wins the job. So
makes sense.
That was 19. We'll go to 18 with Baker.
Ooh,
Baker.
Really?
Did you not? Where do you have Baker? Not at all.
I don't like that.
Oh, wow.
I think he's. Did you forget Baker, or is he in your top 10?
No, I did not forget Baker, but he's not in my top 10. He's just higher than this. I'm telling you, I said it on Twitter.
He's higher than 18?
Yes, he's higher than 18. I said it on Twitter, and I will say it here as well. Since I know New Orleans isn't even going to get a whiff of the playoffs this year because of no Breeze and Thomas not going for his doctor checkups, the Browns are my team to win it. Easily.
So Damian says Baker is a fringe QB2. I have him at 18. So that means that Damian thinks that that's either right or high, which is way lower than you, Josh.
Well, don't worry. I have Chris on my side. Chris is saying that he does think that is low for Baker too, and he sees him at the 12 to 14 range. Hint, hint.
Well, Chris's opinion doesn't matter. How about that?
Matters to me, Chris.
Well, in this situation, it does matter to me. But when we're talking about my receivers for Foxtrot, his opinion doesn't matter to me.
Don't I say what out loud? That me and Damian are the same page? I think that both their running backs played better this year. So I think that takes away from them. Damian says 18 feels right.
But you gotta remember that they do catch the ball as well.
Yeah, especially with Hunt. Hunt does get a lot.
They're running. So basically, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, like combined, are just one super running back. So if you combine the receptions, it is up there with Kamara.
Yeah, it's like 90-ish.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, it doesn't matter who Baker's throwing it to. He's still getting points either way.
Fact book says if Sean Payton actually starts Taysom, then he's drunk.
I agree.
Well, Sean Payton's losing his starting quarterback to retirement and losing his starting receiver to injury. I wouldn't
you
blame
might
him.
actually drink too.
I wouldn't blame him if he shows up to games, practices a little drunk off the whiskey.
He's just gonna call him Breeze. That's it. That's why he's gonna start tasting.
They just tape over his jersey. Here, you're gonna wear this now.
At 18, I have Matt Ryan. I don't know if that's a little bit
okay.
Yeah, I think Matt Ryan. Losing Julio hurts. Obviously, it doesn't really hurt the touchdown production, but obviously Matt Ryan's kind of the reason for that, and the offensive scheme. But I think Pitts might help him, bump him back up, and then I think if Ridley can take that wide receiver 1 role, he could probably live right around this 18 mark. I think Matt Ryan can kind of hold that spot.
So I have Matt Ryan at 17.
I have real quick just to get through it because we already talked about him. I have Big Ben at 18, and for 17, I have Derek Carr.
Okay.
I have Carr at 16. So
I just don't. I don't know. I just don't really think he's that great of a quarterback.
I think that he's not great. I think he's right in this mid-tier 2, and I think that a healthy Ruggs bumps him off of last year's numbers.
I can just tell you, I think he's lower than Baker Mayfield at 18.
Last year, Carr finished 13th. Baker
and I think
finished 15th.
I think that changes this season. I can tell you that now.
So that was mine through 16. Who else did you have there, Josh?
16, I have Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, that's a little high there, bud.
Yeah, it's a bold move right there. I really like that, just what they've done for their offense over the offseason, bringing in Corey Davis and bringing in the rookie running back, new head coach. I mean, yeah, I know I was saying earlier that their head coach is defensive-minded and all that stuff, but for the sake of my list, hey.
He belongs there.
Yeah, he belongs there.
I can't skip my 17 because that is where I have Sam Darnold.
Oh, yeah. on to 17. Brad, who do you have at 16?
At 16, I have Baker.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
Let's get into that one.
That's
okay,
why
so you have Baker.
But Darnold at 17. I don't know if Damien's out here, talking, or I don't think he agrees. But I think if CMC's healthy the whole year and he can be that same receiving back that he is, as well as he's reunited with Robbie Anderson. He has DJ Moore, who's one of the most solid guys. They added 3 or 4 starters to their offensive line, and he has a new start not underneath Gase. I think all of that could absolutely put him in this spot.
I think it's the right spot for someone who threw a touchdown on his very first completion.
Well,
I mean, pick 6. Sorry.
Yeah, it went the other way, but so yeah, I do not have Darnold on my list. He doesn't make the cut.
Yeah,
I don't have him just because I forgot about him.
Well,
it's the NFC South. I don't care about any of them guys.
Would he be above Hurts or after?
He'd probably be after him, if I was to be honest.
All right, I'll take that as a win.
To me, he's too much of a question mark. He falls into that heavy question mark. I don't know how he's going to be. Brand new coach, already has so much bad habits from having the bad system there with him. I don't see enough athleticism and raw talent to change all of that year one coming in, especially when you have probably one of the biggest safety valves in the league in CMC, to where you can really just run it so much anyway. It's not really going to matter what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's out here saying this was about Zach Wilson.
Having Wilson that high.
We talked with, he is okay. Well, then good. I'm glad, Damien, we can still talk.
Yeah.
We're still friends. But yeah, Josh, I don't know if you want to try to talk about that a little bit more, about why Wilson, you have him this high.
Zach Wilson, great guy. Go and get him.
Got it.
As far as Darnold, I kind of agree with Kevin about him just being a huge question mark this season. I mean, he's walking into one of the probably one of the best situations that he can walk into out of all the quarterbacks that have moved. But I think this is the year where it really defines if it was because of Gase and the team that he was running, or if Darnold just really isn't a high caliber QB.
That's fair. And you said 16 was who for you, Brett?
Baker. That's why I have Baker.
Okay. Yeah, Baker we spoke about. Who do you have at 15?
I have Kirk at 15. So it might be a little bit low, but I think if Cook can dominate on the ground, that kind of might take some away. But obviously he does have Thielen and he does have Justin Jefferson. So
How do you feel about them signing D.D. Westbrook as well?
I don't think he's a factor. I don't think he matters, to be honest with you. I think Irv Smith is probably one of the sleepers this year. I think Irv Smith is probably a solid end.
We kind of talked about this off air, myself and Josh, about Irv Smith, that I can't really trust anybody outside of 2 receivers that play for the Vikings just because they feed one every other game, and B, I kind of am down on the tight end position there because of Kyle Rudolph having monster games, then disappearing for seasons. So I like Irv Smith, but I'm not going to be overly high on his production.
Yeah. I mean, and Damian did say that, he just mentioned Justin Jefferson is all Kirk really needs.
Exactly.
So, and then have it 15.
This is where I have Trevor Lawrence.
Ooh, at 15?
Yes, at 15.
I think that too, bud.
Oh, this is where you have him too?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that he has too many weapons not to succeed here. I think that they're going to, especially a college-minded coach coming in, you have a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back. I think all of the issues in the past was getting high-caliber talent to fit the market versus building an actual team, whereas now they have enough younger, cheaper pieces to build the team with.
Yep.
I mean, we just rattled off 3 or 4 wide receivers that could all be boom guys, right? Chenault, Marvin Jones, who was, I believe he was a top 10 quarterback or receiver last year on a bad team.
I can believe that. Well, he had Stafford, so you can't.
Would you say top 10?
Yeah,
top 20.
Yeah, he top 20. He was 18th. He was 18th last season.
I thought it was a little bit higher, but just surprising that he even did that well.
He had a couple injuries, I think.
Yeah.
So that's not that. No? Okay.
He had some off games. I don't know if it was because of injuries, but he played all season.
Okay.
And then Damian says, would anybody be surprised if T-Law was a QB1? No, I wouldn't be. I think that he has the potential, but I think the question mark factor that we've already brought up with is new quarterbacks, new systems, brand new coach as well. The running back room they have that can definitely break off 1,200 yards and steal the QB stats. Hurt him a little bit, but I would not be surprised if he has a Herbert type year.
Well, based on how we have him ranked here, it looks like we would be surprised.
Well, I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if he did overachieve the 15 I have him ranked at, but I feel safer if I was to draft quarterbacks having him in this position. But Damian says that T-Law shouldn't be anywhere close to your Zach Wilson ratings.
See, that's because I'm giving – so just how Kevin is giving Trevor Lawrence he might have a Justin Herbert season – I'm giving that to Zach Wilson. If anybody's going to have the Justin Herbert season out of left field, nobody expected it, it's going to be Zach Wilson. It doesn't mean the Jets are going to go all the way to the playoffs. It just means he's going to have a good season.
Yeah, I just don't always throw in the ball, too. That's my problem. Outside of Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, and Jamison Crowder.
That's all he needs.
Okay.
And Herndon, their tight end.
All right, I'm gonna go down to 14.
Who do you have at 15, Brett?
I have Kirk. That's what, and then you guys.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go to 14 just so we can kind of start flowing through these because I know the top 10 is really what we want to get into. I have Matt Ryan here. I think that the Julio trade doesn't really do anything. I think Ridley still picks up where he left off. I know Kevin's got his guy there that he's high on. So for Kevin's sake, I hope that he's right.
I'm high on Pitts. That's me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 2 Pitts believers.
I traded up for Pitts in our dynasty draft. Come on.
Oh my god.
So did I.
Well, that's the only pick he had in Charlie.
So I had in Delta. I didn't have any picks in Charlie.
Oh,
so
yeah.
out of 8 possible rookie draft picks, I only had 1, and it was Kyle Pitts.
It's not a bad one.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Half PPR, half tight end league. I'll take it.
At 14, I have Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Wow. I didn't rank him at all.
I believe in the beard. I believe in Scary Terry. I believe in Curtis Samuel having a bounce back year. Antonio Gibson and McKissick both can catch out of the backfield. I believe that this is their year to make a run, especially playing in a very poor NFC least. They can really break off big games. I know you know that all too well.
The defense can win games for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Damien says, "Holy crap, the faith is real."
It's the Beard Brothers thing.
Yeah, that's immediately what I went to.
Absolutely.
So here's the thing: is I've never been high on him. I've never really liked him until I was kind of forced and bet my beard on a game against him, and I watched him put up back-to-back like 400-yard games. I'm just going to throw the ball as much as possible. This is where he got benched directly after. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I believe that he can be reliable. I don't think anyone's actually ever given him a chance. They've always drafted right behind him and replaced him. You got to remember he was replaced by Tyrod Taylor, who's supposed to be the thing. Then Allen, who stepped in. Tua took his place, so he's never been really given a fair shake, in my opinion.
Yep.
Damien says, till he traded for him in Delta.
I do have him.
Brett, who do you have at 14?
That is where I have Joe Burrow. His offensive line has me a little bit lower on him. Unless you guys put him higher.
I love my rookies. I love
Did you think that we didn't rank him? We haven't said it yet.
Listen, Hurts at 22 has me questioning everything about Josh. So,
like I said, I probably would have put Hurts higher. I really would have. Listen, do you want to see all the stuff I put into my list? All right. It ain't easy to wait, what?
3 minutes. So
3 minutes. It took me probably like 2 hours to do mine.
Probably about the same.
Well, also because I was going between the list and looking up like kitten videos on YouTube or something.
Oh, well. I was a little more research than that. I couldn't let you guys down. But I have Joe Burrow at 14. Then I have Carson Wentz at 13.
Oh, I like that.
Carson Wentz at 13 for me as well.
Yeah. I like his O. I mean, he covered it all already, but his O-line, Frank Reich, JT, and then I think this is where Ertz should end up. I think Ertz should be tight end for the Colts.
He is reporting to camp for them.
He is.
But I don't believe that means much. I still think that they're trying to get something done someplace else, only because they honestly need the cap room. They don't really want to move off of him.
Mm-hmm.
They just need that space, and he's kind of done anyway.
Yeah.
They have his backup. They knew that when they drafted him. So, but Wentz at 13 feels right.
What do you have there, Josh?
At 13, this is where I have Stafford at. I think that Stafford had a sneaky decent season last year. And because of other people just falling down on my list, I think he just bumps right back up. And it's kind of just what we said earlier about he actually has receivers to throw to. And a defense that has his back too. So he's not going to be pressured. But that could also hurt him. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
At 12 for myself, I have Herbert.
Who do you have at 13?
Wow.
I said Wentz as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. And who do you have at 12?
Herbert.
How dare you?
I've got Herbert much higher than that. Don't worry, Josh. No,
You have Burrow over Herbert.
dude, Burrow
Yep.
1-1. I feel like when people get injured, people just sleep on him. Burrow was projected to do so well last year, and then he got hurt.
I'm not saying because Burrow got injured last season to completely drop him off your list. I mean,
I didn't chop him off my list.
but you're putting him over somebody who, like,
by 1 spot. You want to ruin the surprise? Burrow's 11.
I still don't like it. I want Burrow to be 12, and I want Herbert to be 11.
Too bad. It's my list, and it's in pen. I can't change it.
But actually, 12 is where I put Tom Brady.
There is a God.
Is where I have Brady.
I'm sorry, everybody. We seem to be having technical difficulties on Brett's end.
You have him dropping from 7 to what, 12? You said.
What was Herbert last year?
10. You have Herbert dropping from 10 to 11. How dare you?
No, 12.
12.
10 to 12.
Oh, 10 to 12. I'm sorry. 11.
Yeah, but he doesn't get Antonio Brown back for 8 games that he missed. They bring back all Brady. Brady was out without Antonio Brown, who probably could have been their number 1 receiver last year if had not missed those games. They bring back every starter, 22 starters. And did you see his ring ceremony speech?
Oh my goodness. He's had enough. It's like it's like when you watch a movie for like the 5th time, the 6th time. It just gets annoying. You can recite the words. You can recite the words like word for word. It just gets.
I see your explanation, and I raise you a Step Brothers. How about that, bud?
What do you mean you raised me a Step Brothers?
You said a movie that you've seen 100 times, and you repeat the lines, and it gets old.
I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
I probably can't. I can't think of any movies that I can recite word for word.
I
digress. Brady much higher.
I did put under this. One of the notes I put is could exceed this ranking. But, we keep saying every year age is going to catch up to him at some point. The question is...
See, that's what everybody tries to project. Absolutely. Is where's the cliff going to be? When is he going to fall off? And he's one player, because I've seen it time and time again, that I would rather bet late on. I would rather have him too high and fall off than bet him too low, because I know where his mark is usually at.
So at 12, I have Baker Mayfield. Baker, I woke up feeling dangerous. Mayfield. Like I said it earlier in the show tonight. I think that they're my team to win it all. He gets OBJ back this season. So it's just another weapon in his arsenal.
And who do you have at 11?
11, I have Ryan Tannehill.
Me too.
Yes.
Okay.
That's another one. It's just it's kind of one of those things that you said for Brady is like you're waiting for that cliff. And that's how I am with Tannehill is I'm waiting for him to take a big enough hit because of Henry being there. And I don't think that Julio being there makes any difference.
No. I mean, obviously, A.J. Brown's good. If his left tackle, Luan, if he's healthy, I think it's he can maintain this. But I think if he has to work with like a backup line or, if Henry has another season, he could fall a little bit further than 11. If Henry does what he can do, who knows if those tires are going to fall off too.
So this puts us up to the top 10. At 10, I have Kirk Cousins.
Ooh, so do I.
I think that Justin Jefferson, another year with him. I think that Irv Smith, as we mentioned, Cook, full season, healthy. If he can do it, just moving the train right on forward. I think that he performs well, top 10. He was 11th last year.
Yeah, I definitely think he could bump himself up one position.
I've got Hurts there.
Oh, I was waiting for it. I wanted to see how high you put him.
That's pretty
Oh, see, that's
I will say,
it's round. Lamar Jackson. So I'm in a keeper league. This is year 3. I got Lamar Jackson in the 11th round of our first year. And he outperformed that. I mean, I had Lamar Jackson CMC and they carried me. I'm not going to say that Jalen Hurts is even close to Lamar Jackson. I mean, I kind of did say that by these rankings. But that aside,
I didn't say it out loud, but
number 5s, they're kind of close. But I do think he could surprise people. And that's not speaking as an Eagles fan.
So Damien says, I'm convinced Josh is just making this stuff up as we go. For that, fine. I'll break it out. I will just show you. This is not made up.
Wow, that's wow.
Yeah.
That took effort. It took effort to have this bad of a rankings. I'm proud of you, but
I'm not proud of later on in the rankings. All right, I just started tossing people's names in there.
Well, we're up to the top 10, so you can be proud of these.
So me and Josh both had Cousins at 10. Correct, Josh?
Yes.
At 9, I have Stafford. Yep. That is, I mean, I understand you guys said, that he did play that comeback kind of hero, but I was clicking around looking for stats and something popped up on Sleeper about Cooper Kupp. I don't know if you guys might have seen it, but he has been open more than 50%, ranked open more than 50% of the time over the past 3 years. And the only other player with that is Tyreek Hill. So if Stafford can find him, I don't think there is anything. I mean, in 6-point passing touchdowns, I think that's the major thing here. With the Akers injury and 6-point passing touchdowns, with Higbee as tight end, I mean, obviously no Everett there anymore, so you got that reliable tight end. You got Kupp, you got Woods, and then no Akers. I think Damian might have said it earlier, but I think it screams more passing this year. So I think that's why I ended up putting him there.
If I had to pick one player off my list that I could put much higher than I do, it would probably be him. I just don't know. Every spot I go, I could see an argument either way, all the way down to where I had him at 19, to where that's the absolute floor. But like you said, I think that where you've got him at 9 is a decent ceiling for him personally. I think that's about as best as I see him going. So not mad at it, just not where I think it will end overall.
Hey, who do you guys have there?
So real quick,
at 9.
Real quick, Damien says Cooper got to be on the field to be open.
Could you give me injury information on that? How often has he truly been injured?
And that really leads me to believe that Damien is on some sort of substance. Damien, I think you need a 2-show suspension.
Yeah, he got hurt once.
Because, well, I'm looking at the stats from last season, and it said Cooper played all games except for week 17.
And that was probably just him sitting.
They probably just sat him.
Which there were some games in there that looks like he could have gotten injured for that game because he had 4 games under 10 points.
The year before he had some.
Yeah.
He did have some injuries the year before. I remember starting him and having to sit him.
Yeah.
So Damien says that Dak could smash the passing record this season.
Damien, Dak.
I got Dak at 9, so I don't believe he'll do it. Funny that you mentioned that there, bud. Dak at 9.
That hurts. Who do you have at 8?
Who do you have at 9, Josh?
This is where I stuck Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow makes it into my top 10.
We touched on him a bit. 8 for myself is Tannehill.
Okay.
That's solid. Brett, who do you have at 8?
That is where I have Russell Wilson.
Ooh.
So if he performs the first half over the whole course of the season, I mean, last year I think the stat was 26 point something points per game for the first. What was it? Russ was cooking, and then the last half of the season, Russ was no longer doing what he was doing. He
couldn't even get in the restaurant, let alone the kitchen.
Yeah, he couldn't find it.
For the first half of the season, Russ was cooking, and then the second half of the season, that's when it says let stand for 5 minutes.
That was him.
You gotta, he's cooling off.
So, and
That's
I
good.
think, I don't know if it was Pete Carroll or someone said they wanted to try to run more. So I do think Chris Carson's value, obviously we're not talking about running backs, but I don't know if Russell Wilson's value might drop a little bit.
I do, however, have a running back on my list. Lamar Wilson.
Lamar
Lamar.
Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson at 7.
Oh, wow.
Did we just skip over 8?
No, 8 was my Russell Wilson. Who do you guys have at 8?
And 8, I had Tannehill.
Oh, so at 8, this is where I have Tom Brady / Aaron Rodgers if he plays, which from the news that we heard, I believe it was today, Aaron Rodgers is playing.
Reported.
So I have Tom Brady below him and Aaron Rodgers above him.
Okay.
So wait a minute. You mean to tell me we went through this whole list and everybody's a player off because you didn't shift them down actually while we were talking?
Yeah, Hurts being 23 hurts a lot. I can make the list.
Then you know what?
Where did you have Hurts? So wait, where did you have Hurts?
Hurts was 23.
Which means he's actually 24. He's actually
okay. No. This is what we're gonna do then. Because I absolutely despise him, and because he just had to come walking in a place where he had no business being here. Aaron Rodgers at number 8. Brady's off the board.
Cool. Wow.
All together.
He's off the list.
That's just messed up.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers at number 8.
So, and who do you have at 7?
At 7, this is where I have Dak. I mean, just from the beginning that Dak had, he had a monster of a beginning of the season right before his injury. And granted, he didn't play the rest of the season, but he had the highest average out of everybody, I believe.
Wait, he had 3 big games right in a row.
Yeah,
42, 32, 42.
Yeah. In those 5 games, he had a 29.6 average. The only person to have a higher average than him was somebody who played 1 game, and that was Mariota.
Stud.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
Who do you have at 7, Brett?
Justin Herbert. That is where I have him. So
okay.
I think
Josh appreciates that. Josh has him higher.
Yeah, I was about to say I haven't said him yet.
Yeah. Herbert's up there for you, but I think they also did add some O-line options there. So they did add some people there to kind of give them some protection. And obviously Keenan Allen is Keenan Allen. Mike Williams, I don't have much faith in, but Eckler, I believe, could help him.
No, don't say that. I hate that name. Everybody's always so high on Eckler, and I am never.
I don't know why.
I'm not really high on him either.
At
6 is where I had Wilson.
Okay.
Wilson.
This is where Damon's going to think that I'm making up this list because that's where I have Wilson.
Okay. 6 for Brett.
That is where I put, because I didn't leave him out of my list, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
So I put Aaron Rodgers there. If he can play and repeat an MVP season, he could be top 5. I mean, last year I feel like is a little bit of an anomaly. I went back to 2019 and kind of looked at it. He was in like that 19 to 25 range pretty often. Last year, I don't think he can put up another performance like last year.
Okay. Damien would like Josh to answer first. Who do you have at 5?
This is just so convenient that you guys want me to answer first on number 5 because this is where I have Justin Herbert. I think he can do it easily.
So you don't believe in sophomore slumps is what you're saying?
No, I don't. I think that he's just, I don't know. That's my guy.
So obviously this is where you think that he finishes best at. Is there a possibility in your mind that he falls outside of QB1?
Falls outside of QB1? No.
Yeah, because I have him at 12.
So you still have him at QB1 then?
Right. I have him. That's what I'm saying. I have him the lowest out of the 3 of us.
And
12.
I have him the highest. I think I think if there's going to be any kind of question mark guy, like, hey, can he possibly do it? I think it's going to be Justin Herbert.
At 5, I have Brady.
Wow.
Man, you're crazy.
Wow.
7 last year. Full team comes back. You add another receiver for 8 games. You have a full season under your belt with the coaching staff that you have. I think that they run the board just like they had at the end of last season. You got to remember how rocky the beginning of the season was with them missing cues, not remembering what down you're on. I think those kind of all shake out, and he hits the ground running. And
So
I think he's right back in the mix of where he was last year.
My question real quick about Brady being top 5 for you. He finished 7th, and you're praising about how they brought everybody back. The only difference about that team from last year to this year is, I guess, Bernard getting him and AB coming back. So you're telling me that AB is that game changer that's going to move him up 2 spots?
I think it might be the offense.
Yeah, I'm saying the time spent with them. I think that when you bring in, we're talking about question marks with teams, right? That's why we have some of these guys on new teams so much lower. That was Brady last year. When you have a full season now under your belt within that system with Arians and with the receiving core that he had, I think that he outperforms that last year. And Damien asks.
Oh yeah, no, I was more reading Damien's comment too.
He says rankings have a 2-spot window, up or down. If you think a player is at 12, I think expectations are he could finish in the range of 10 to 14, which means I could have Herbert outside of that based on that math.
Which I think you're crazy. I dependent upon injuries, I think he's top 12 at least.
He doesn't have a job without injuries.
You mean puncturing a lung?
Yeah.
That was wild.
I'm not saying injuries to other people. I'm saying if he doesn't get injured.
Right. That's what I'm saying is he doesn't have his job or season if that doctor doesn't have him on his dynasty team.
Yep.
That's the only answer.
I had a trade in my inbox last year I turned down that would have netted me Herbert, and I would have given up Haskins. So we see how far we've come.
Right.
Does that wake you up at night?
It hurts. It was in a salary league at that, so I could have had Herbert on this rookie salary. It's a real salary league, so it definitely hurts. There were some other pieces involved, but I know I would have traded Haskins away for Herbert. Thankfully, it's a 1 QB league. It makes it a little bit easier.
Brett, who do you have at number 5?
That's where I have Dak. So I think he could, dependent upon 2 people I have above him, he could be higher than this, especially with 6-point passing touchdowns. And obviously we've seen him back in camp. They said he's full go. But I think just seeing how that ankle is and how confident he is on it, I think that'll all kind of play a big factor in this. I think CD settling in. I think Jarwin coming back from an injury, definitely. And then Amari Cooper obviously is Cooper. So I think they're all good pieces there. And if Zeke can step it up as well, I think he has the pieces to perform.
That's my biggest concern is Zeke. I think if Zeke comes back and performs at where he had in previous years when the full team is healthy, I don't think Dak can have as high of numbers to be top 5 like that.
The thing that really helps out Dak is just the fact that they constantly have to put up the high numbers. So Zeke can still do what he has to do, and Dak can still fight for most passing yards in a season because that's just what they have to do.
They have to, yeah, because it's going to be 41-35 if they're going to win the game.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Damien says if you're going to be all in on a guy, Dak is the player to be high on. And he mentions that their defense is horrible. So
I did trade Kyler for Dak in our
Foxtrot, yeah.
So I do believe in Dak. Kevin's the only one that said that trade was awful. Then I learned he didn't like Dak. So I with his opinion.
So this is a guy that I'm interested to see on that he's this high for everyone as well because he hasn't been mentioned. And I'm probably going to say it's the only guy across all of our rankings that we are consensus on him because we haven't mentioned him yet.
Oh
Is
shoot!
Kyler Murray at 4.
Oh no!
I've got Lamar at 4.
Yeah, I'm with Brett. I have Lamar.
Do you guys
at
have him
4.
even higher than 4?
I do.
Yeah.
I struggled putting him any higher just because the 3 guys I haven't named at the top 3, even if you give him more weapons in question mark AJ Green, you lose out on probably the most consistent receiver in the league hands wise in Larry Fitzgerald because he is now free agent, and you bring in the least consistent receiver in the league in AJ Green because he didn't play a single down last year.
Yeah,
They
but you
did
still
draft-
have Hopkins.
Yeah, Hopkins.
Right, but even if you have Hopkins and you just repeat what you did last year, I have him dead on where he was last year at 4, and you guys have him higher.
So I'm gonna do my combination of 4 and 3 here. I have Lamar at 4 and I have Kyler at 3 because they have the same play style where they're a run first kind of QB, but I have a QB who can run but has receivers. I have a QB who can run, but their offensive coordinator or head coach doesn't know how to get their receivers involved. I'm going to go for the guy that has the options.
I think Lamar. I mean, Lamar at 3 doesn't. I mean, they added Bateman in the draft. They added Tylan Wallace in the draft. They added Sammy Watkins in free agency. So they added those wide receiver options. And I think that the problem is there's just so many people to run the ball there, especially Lamar. If he can get his head up while scrambling instead of running the ball, I think he could end up stepping it up, and maybe hit that 3 mark.
And that's
my issue is he's just let people down so many times, especially with an inconsistent pass game and low accuracy in Lamar, that I have a hard time believing that this is going to be the year, which is why I had him down at 7.
Yeah, that's why I have him at 4 under Murray, is just because he's been inconsistent with it. And like I said, Murray has the options there, and there's no way they're not going to get Hopkins involved in the game.
Absolutely.
Who is your 4, Brett?
4 is Lamar for me, and then Kyler for 3. So I think Josh and I kind of have the same 2 there.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 for me is Rodgers.
Nobody cares.
I think he goes on an FU tour. I think that he rides what he did last year. You only bring in more pieces than get rid of pieces. I think adding Amari Rodgers there. I love the catches that he did in that camp there. I think that Adams is underrated for where most people have him ranked. I think Jones is underrated out of the backfield from where they have him. So I think this only helps his cause and not MVP like because last year he was the number 1.
I think
he had 466. So I have him falling off a little bit, but not enough to drop out to top 3.
I think me and Brett were kind of making the same face at the comments that we just saw. After the whole spiel you went on before, Damian chimes in and says, Kevin doesn't like players or good players either. Right as you're saying Rodgers is number 3, and then he retracts his statement.
Instantly.
All right.
So you guys had
Murray at 3.
Murray at 3 each. Okay. So then I will say wait,
No,
I'm confused. I'm confused about your guys' 2 and 1 then.
I mean, we have the same 2 people there. It's just where are they?
Definitely. Unless you forgot him, Josh.
No, I did not forget. I did not forget these guys.
All right,
obviously we are between Mahomes and Allen here.
We are.
So with Brett being the guest here, Brett, you can give us your number 2.
My number 2.
Or should we go for just number 1?
Well, it's going to be 2 and 1 together because there's 2 guys left.
Just give your number 1.
1 is Mahomes.
Okay.
And
Josh?
You got Allen.
So number 1, I have babyface Josh Allen.
I also have Josh Allen.
And I swapped them. Originally, I did have Mahomes, but I do know how to use a backspace key, so I did change it to Allen. For the reason of like last year and maybe the season before that, we always say Mahomes is going to be number one. Mahomes is going to be the number one guy. He's got all those weapons there. There's no way he can't be number one. And he finished what, third?
Yep, last year he finished third, behind Rodgers and behind Allen. And they only gave Allen more pieces to work with.
Exactly. Well,
and Ertz is rumored to go there over Indy.
Yeah, so that's why I had to give Allen my my vote for number one this year.
I can't. He has Allen. Yeah, his weapons that he added was. I mean, listen, I'm gonna kind of take it to your guy, but Emmanuel Sanders.
That's why when Kevin said that they added weapons, I'm like,
Like they have Gabe Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, and then obviously the Diggs Allen connection is undeniable. But I just don't like Mahomes is. I don't think I have to defend him. I mean, obviously you guys have him at 2, but
like
my
issue
with Mahomes
0.01 in a dynasty. So obviously dynasty, but super like if you're picking 1.01, you're picking Allen over Mahomes.
Yeah. Who somebody in Echo picked Allen over Mahomes.
And then the guy at 103 or something, because I think CMC might have gone second.
No, it was CMC, Allen, and then Mahomes.
That's crazy. I mean, I think the guy at 1.03 had no idea what to do with his life. He was trying to. I mean,
actually, at that pick, if Mahomes falls that far, I know exactly what I'm doing with my life.
Absolutely.
But. Yeah, I think that Mahomes. I personally think Mahomes has peaked. We know what he is. He's a great athlete. And he makes unbelievable throws. He has a ton of talent around him, but this is kind of consistent where he's at. I think Josh Allen, because they do throw more. Josh Allen does run more. Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns in the past 3 years than Lamar does.
And
you add that into the game and not having a true backfield there, plus the connection that you're mentioning with Diggs within FSA scoring where you are getting the full points for the rushing touchdowns, I have to put Allen first.
And that's the other thing that I mentioned too on my little the notes that I had here that I really didn't even go off of the whole show. But so as of last season, I'm considering Singletary to be their number one. And Singletary had the least amount of rushing attempts out of all of the starting running backs. So they have little to no running game.
Although, if you do look at last year's stats comparative to two, Allen and Mahomes, it's pretty much a dead heat because Mahomes didn't play the last game and Allen did.
And just like Damian saying here, Mahomes we know is elite no matter what. I'm not saying like the guy's terrible, you shouldn't invest in him, none of that. You're going to get your money's worth with whoever you take. It's just I'm agreeing with Kevin. I think Mahomes has peaked. I don't think you're going to get anything better than him besides an extra game because they added another week to the season.
They did. I do understand being maybe a little bit lower on him. I don't think I'd move him from 1, but they did blow up that entire offensive line. That whole offensive line got totally rearranged.
And we do also have to remember that this is the fantasy perspective. So you are looking at what he adds in his legs and not just the spectacular, 40-0 wins that we know Mahomes is going to do. It's going to be flashier to take Mahomes regardless of, what league you're in, what, if you live under a rock, you woke up in your first fantasy league, you take Mahomes 101. Congrats, you can't mess that up. But I think that the smart pick here, if you have that pick, that 101, for me, I'm taking Allen. I'd rather take that risk reward, especially knowing that this is super flex rankings and I'm going to have 3 to 4 quarterbacks anyway. So I'll take the risk.
Yep, yeah. I do understand that. Yeah, I think my wife in our local league has Allen as a 14th round keeper. So she'll have him for a while.
So I am in a auction keeper league. I'm keeping Allen for $2 this year.
That's beautiful.
Jeez.
Yep. Well,
I'm stuck.
and Holmes never got picked that low, so.
And I'm stuck investing in Carson Wentz and Kirk Cousins. Actually, I will mention that.
That's good. And
actually, in both of my leagues, I just realized that.
So that about wraps it up for us as we head to the hour and a half mark by the time we get out of here. Personal thanks to Coach Brett, as his name now reads.
Don't worry, I took care of that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. It was fun. It was fun. I'm ready to watch the next couple weeks and see who you guys have on. I think it'll be a good time, and everyone gets to come in and give their input. I like it.
Yeah.
Yes, you only had to deal with the battering for 1 week. Now you know what we deal with on a weekly basis.
Well, he's going to have to put up with it all season long because we do play him. So
we do.
He is in a.
I think it is worth mentioning. Throw up that comment from Damien. I talked to Kevin about this. If Watson plays, he is definitely top 10 for me. Absolutely.
I guarantee he would be because of the absolute snakery that you've done in Foxtrot, getting him in the 9th round.
Seventh.
It was that's not better. It'd be
705.
No, 9th would have been more impressive. Yeah. But I know you and I were going back and forth during the draft, saying if he does play, that is the biggest steal of the draft.
Pitts at 505 is also up there.
Unfortunately, I'm not high on Pitts.
Kevin agrees.
Keep them.
Yeah, but in a dynasty, to take a top 5 tight end in the 5th. I mean, I like that.
As your first tight end, though?
Come to me if you need a tight end.
He says if he plays half of the year, he's a top 24, right? I would say yes, considering Burrow finished last season at 24, Wentz at 23, Locke at 22. All guys that didn't finish out seasons. So
Minshew stat. Yeah. Minshew finished above Daniel Jones last year, and he missed 7 games.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Oh yeah, I know Kevin said something about that before the show. All right, we really are going to that hour and a half point, which I mean it's understandable. We have a guest host here for the first time. It was bound to happen.
I appreciate it. Let me give my input. I appreciated
it. No problem. All right, I would say let's wrap it up, but that's actually me that has to do that. Before we return to our regularly scheduled Average Bros Fantasy Show on August 3rd at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, do not check out the Fanatically Raw broadcast because there will be no show tomorrow night. So remember to exit out off your guys' calendars. It's 2021. Everything's electronic nowadays. As well as check out the Empty Wagon guys this Saturday night at midnight, or Saturday morning at midnight, Eastern Standard Time. And if you guys are unable to watch us live, make sure to check us out on Anchor, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, anywhere you can find us for your listening pleasures. Thank you guys for watching the Average Bros Fantasy Show, sponsored by Football, Darts, and Fantasy Sports Alliance. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the show, and follow us on all of our social media outlets that you see at the bottom of the screen. And before we head out, I want to thank all of our sponsors: QB54, Monkey Knife Fight, Nature Coast Tailgating, Cranky Veteran Candle Company, Shell and Mel's Boutique, Finger Lakes Mercantile, Southern Sirens, Sugar Scrub, Redwood Durables, and of course, the Recast, who are the official music of FSA. Kevin and Brett, do you guys have any final words?
That is it for myself. Josh, Brett, both of you guys can kick rocks. And I hope I get the 102 now, because I know that my guy's going to fall to me if you guys are ahead of me. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, it was fun. It was a good time. I look forward to playing you guys in redraft. I think drafting against you guys. We're doing these lists. I get to see your lists for everything else, but you guys don't get to see mine. So it'll be good. I'll be taking some notes.
That is a good point, Josh.
Yeah.
You might want to rethink this.
I think think we might as well just say it now. This is the first and last list that we are going to be doing.
I won't watch them.
Yeah, if you were here tonight, you cannot come for any other shows. Damon,
I'm
you
just
watched
gonna do
tonight's
my-
show. You can't be here next week.
I'm going to do my lists in reverse now.
There it is.
I'm gonna do my.
All
All right.
24.
Oh my god.
All right, gentlemen, stay average.
Have a good night.
Oh, don't even. How dare you? How dare you? Brett, Kevin, Damien, everyone else that is watching, everybody have a great night. Stay average. Kevin, I cannot believe you stole my thunder.